This thing, folks, is something that's going to help prevent contaminated fuel causing havoc with the industry's plant and machinery all across the UK. Hi, I'm Peter Haddock and welcome here to FuelActive's Contamination Control Laboratory here. And I'm joined by Mike James. Mike, you are not only the founder, but you are the chief engineer here at FuelActive. And the words say it all, folks: contamination, elimination. Mike, we've got a tank here full of fuel, but also full of the contaminants that we see all over the industry. Not just water, diesel bug, and he's going to have to explain that. I have no idea what diesel bug is, and of course, particulates that really have an impact in the industry. First of all, tell me all about FuelActive. What have you been doing to stop that happening? And then we're going to have a little bit of a demonstration, I hope.
Right, FuelActive is a system that's installed into the fuel tank.
Yep.
And whereas your standard traditional pickup pipe picks up the fuel from the bottom of the tank through a pipe which creates a low pressure zone, and all the contamination gets drawn into that one point.
Sucking it up.
It's sucking that contamination to be cleaned by the filters and water separators. Yep. The FuelActive system works by using a float.
And I've got one here, Mike. Here's one I made earlier, folks.
Yep. So
I'll try and get the float out. Here it is.
There's the float. So the float moves up and down with the fuel.
Yeah.
You can see, because it's a much bigger surface area, you don't get that low pressure point. So the float rises with the fuel, takes the cleanest fuel available in the tank, and allows then the fuel system, the filters and water separators to work at their ultimate efficiency. So you leave the contamination in the tank. That's how you manage the problem.
We just had stage 5 launches from some of the big players out there. We've had hours of servicing going from 250 to 500 to 1,000 hours servicing. One, you're helping manufacturers live up to those claims. And two, it's got to be in the servicing, folks. The tank has got to have a box ticked next to it and serviced, hasn't it, Mike?
Yes, if you look at all the construction equipment manufacturers, they will all have a drain point in the tank for regular drain off of water and contaminants. You just need to ensure that that is being done during the planned maintenance schedules.
So the thing about that, Mike, and what's really important, we all know out there, we've all seen it, haven't we? Horrendously blocked up filters. Now, they're not doing their job, so that contamination, that filter's not taking it out because it's overwhelmed by the muck in here. That's then going through into the machine. What kind of damage is that doing? And it's shutting machines down, isn't it?
So the contamination you're getting in the tank would be water, which is obviously just from condensation, poor handling and transportation and storage. But you also get lots of dust, depending on the environment the equipment's working in. And you'll also get, you touched on it earlier, was diesel bug. So diesel bug is a microbe that lives in between the interface between the water and the diesel. Yeah. And these survive within that space. Current diesel that we're using at the moment is called B7. Right. So there's up to 7% of biodiesel. Biodiesel actually gives the diesel bug a chance to proliferate, so they magnify or they multiply much quicker.
So instead of blowing your filters, blowing your maintenance budget, all to smithereens, folks, tell you what, why don't you go and chat with Mike here in the team? Because they've got this solution. You've got their float here. I can't ever get this thing out, folks, but you can see the float is there. It's a simple device. You can be fitted to a machine and retrofitted, can't it?
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be factory fitted, this.
It doesn't have to be factory fitted. We've got loads of, plenty of cases where we've retrofitted the units in the top of the tanks, in the bottom of the tanks, in all manner of machines, from small generators to large mining trucks.
And of course, we're standing next to a tank, folks. There's a reason for that, because we've got some contaminants in here, Mike. Can you turn on the tank, Mike, and let's see how it all works?
So I'm just going to switch a pump on here, and that will show that when the fuel comes back into the tank, it agitates any contaminants within the tank. Yep. Again, this also happens with any motion of a machine, so during acceleration of braking or an excavator moving.
Right.
So all that contamination gets mixed up with the fuel.
I can see it all now happening,
So we've got both systems. So we've got a standard pipe and we've got a FuelActive system connected to a pump.
Yep.
And this will just circulate the fuel to show you what would be going into the fuel system.
Go for it.
Right,
so what I'm saying, oh my gosh, folks, this is a bit weird. Look, you've got the fuel over here. That's the standard fuel that we should be using. And you've got this, it just looks horrendous. It looks like something you just, anybody ever brewed beer? It's the kind of look of that, you'd see the yeast kind of effect of there. Horrific contamination, that might.
And if you shake it, you can still have the FuelActive, still gives you clean fuel.
Worse. I mean, look at it coming down here. That is utterly horrendous. And that's going straight in to your filters when it doesn't need to, clogging them up. So that 250, 500,000 hour service, no chance you're going to make that if you're going to get this sort of stuff going into your fuel.
No, you're not. It's not just about getting to the service. It's obviously the damage that it can cause to injectors and pumps. Yeah. And this can happen in very early stages of the equipment's life.
Yeah.
So, and it's not covered by warranty.
No, indeed, folks. It's a big problem. We know it is. This is really important. But let's find out just how we can get this into different machines. Because, folks, yes, we see FuelActive in this size, but we've got a bigger FuelActive that myself and Mike are going to see right now in the machine tool section. Mike, let's go in. Come on. So, Mike, we have come in here into the secret area here in Mike's laboratory, this one. Mike, first of all, before we get into seeing what on earth these big rigs are, I've just picked this up. Mike, 10 years old this is. Look at it, folks. Basically, it looks virtually the same, a little bit changed within the colour there, and the pipe has obviously had diesel in it. But 10 years, Mike, still working. Explain what that's all about.
Well, the design of FuelActive was about improving reliability and uptime of equipment. So the product itself has to be intrinsically reliable. So the stainless steel baffle, the inside is smooth to reduce any friction. The hose is hydrocarbon resistant, and it's actually resistant to all the HVOs, all the modern fuels as well. The plastic which is used is the same plastic that they use in manufacturing plastic fuel tanks. So it's about keeping the product as simple as possible, and then that gives it the reliability that we wanted. And we feel it'll outlast any machine.
Fantastic, Mike. Now, if you step back, we can reveal what's been next to us. Here, folks, FuelActive have gone super big. And when I'm talking super big, I'm talking some of the biggest equipment in the world, Mike. So tell me, what is that rig and what is this rig?
So we started working with mining customers in South America a number of years ago. So this was our first design. It's 4 FuelActives manifolded together to give the correct fuel flow. And this has morphed now into this unit. We've managed to get it down to 3. We've got a new hose, and this gives us sufficient fuel flow for a 4,000 plus horsepower engine. And we've also worked on the installation as well. Again, the whole structure is stainless steel, so there's it's not going to add to the corrosion problems. Many fuel tanks are mild steel, so they're going to actually give you some corrosion from inside the tank as well.
So, folks, that's going to conclude my chat with Mike. It's the big stuff and the small stuff, so it's a whole range of plant and equipment, anything that really uses fuel out there in the industry that the FuelActive system can actually work with. And Mike, it's been a tremendous experience for me seeing the innovation, the ingenuity that goes in to saving a lot of customers those dreadful implications of contaminated fuel. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.